thank you for joining me today, where I am going to be addressing a question that I have recently received. And the person was asking about a prosperity jar spell and what to do if they cannot get the ingredients that are listed in a spell. I thought rather than reply with all of this in an email, I would do a video. Okay, so what do you do in a situation like that? Well, it's not as hard as you may think. Now, there is something to be said about going out of your way to acquire certain ingredients and at the appropriate times and all of this stuff. You can use what you have at hand. Witches have long been known to be very resourceful people, learning directly from the spirits of the land and their own personal spirits, and using things that are at hand and that are personally meaningful. I mean, I think it's cool sometimes to order a bunch of herbs that you've never heard of, but the herbs that you have in your day-to-day life and the items that are in your surroundings that are even more personally meaningful can even add a greater power to your working. So it's important to be flexible. When it really boils down to it, the tools for the spell really are just methods for the individual to direct their will. So always remember that. If you get hung up on ingredients and things like that, if you don't have something, be flexible. There are powers in the different herbs. Of course, I'm a very natural witch and I love working with the elementals and the spirits of nature. So there really is something to be said for that too, but use what you have. A sweetening jar, also known as honey jars. This is a common term that you will hear often. But you don't actually need to have honey for a sweetening jar. Any sweetening agent will do. So it can be sugar. That's what I'm going to use today for an example, because the person could not acquire honey. You know, you can have sugar, any type of sugar. If you have maple syrup, use that. Whatever you have that is sweet, okay, you can use. And then for the herbs, what you can do is purchase a book that teaches the magical properties of herbs. And this will empower you to be able to adapt your spells on the fly and create your own. So right now, I am creating a jar spell for prosperity, like the person was discussing. And I didn't go out and get anything special to do this. It's with things that I have in my little witchy trailer here. What I like to do when I am creating a spell, I like to use what I have, or if I have a very strong attachment to a particular herb or something, you know, I'll try and ensure that I have that for the spell. I like to harvest my own herbs at the appropriate times with the appropriate rituals. And when that's not possible, you know, I make the connection with all the herbs that I do get that I order in. So I do a path working where I'm connecting with the spirit of the plant and making that connection where I'm requesting permission to use it and asking it to allow the magical properties and the healing properties to remain within the herb to empower my spell. And that's just the way I roll, and I leave offerings to the plant spirit. So oftentimes I'll leave it directly in the jar if I haven't harvested the herb myself. Back onto this spell. So what you can do is get a book. This is my favorite book, The Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham. And there are so many options in here. So when I'm creating a spell, I'll skip right to the back. Okay, money, riches, treasure, wealth to obtain here. And then it'll give a list of all the herbs that can be utilized for workings that are associated with this. So I like to use as many herbs as I can. that I have available, either in herbal form or in essential oil. So when I went rummaging through my things, the herbs that I found that were associated with the working: basil, vervain, and I had that in herbal tea form, so that's what I'm going to use. I am very adaptable. And patchouli. And in the oil form, I have bergamot, chamomile, and vetiver. So I will be adding those to the jar as well. Also, I have my sweetening agent in here. So half of the jar is filled with white sugar and also some petition paper. I always advise the people that I am teaching, when you're doing up your petition, try to have it small enough that it could fit on a post-it note. Take some time beforehand when you are creating the spell and before you approach your ritual space to sum up your spell in a few key words if possible. And then that's what you could write on your petition, and you can create a mantra within your mind while you're empowering the spell. So for myself, I am just going to need a little piece of paper like this. After you're done writing your key points on your petition, that which you wish to manifest, you can either fold it toward you. That is the most popular way. I like to sometimes roll my papers. I don't know why, it's more magical to me. So I make sure that I will be rolling it toward me, and then I have this little mini scroll, and then I will put that in my spell. At first, you're going to ground and center. And I do have a grounding and centering meditation in my playlists on the YouTube channel, which is really awesome to do to get you into that state beforehand. And a green candle. So it can be green or gold or even silver, associated with money and prosperity. Grounded and centered. And I'm ready to perform my spell. I have my jar halfway at least filled with the sweetening agent. I am going to get a visualization in my mind's eye of what I wish to manifest. One by one, I'm going to add some of my herbs to the jar. The way I like to do it is I like to pour some into my hand. Now I'm going to focus my intention and infuse the herb with my intention. Each herb has a ton of properties, and you want to activate and instruct the plant ally to assist you toward your particular desire. As I'm watching each droplet from my bottle, I am infusing the droplet with my intention, because I use my oils for many other things as well. And then you're going to finish up the jar the rest of the way with your sweetening agent, whatever it may be. Now, at this point, if you want to shake it as you're focusing more of your intention, raising your energy and directing it into the spell to be set out into the multiverse, you can do that, or you can just simply hold it and chant your mantra. I am going to get my green candle ready, and I'm just going to use, just to keep things simple, I am going to use an essential oil instead of one of the blends that I have at in my shop for this specific purpose, and just show how easy it can be. It can be olive oil, it can be your saliva. You can just direct your intention into the candle. If you don't have any oil whatsoever, you can rub sugar on it, you can rub just some of the herbs on it. whatever it may be, moon water, whatever. There is no one right way to dress your candle. Everyone has their own technique. Do whatever feels right to you. I was taught this way, so I always do it this way. I cleanse it by going from the middle down, and I charge it going from the middle up with my intention. At this stage, you may also wish to forego the whole petition thing in there if you didn't have paper, and you can carve your petition directly upon the candle if you wish. If you wish to do both, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to leave my petition as it stands in the jar. I'm going to further anoint the jar with the leftover chamomile essential oil that I have on my hands. And so I have a little bit of extra herbs that's spilt on my circle cloth here that I am sitting in. So I am just actually going to rub my candle in those herbs, so it looks like so. Okay, and I'm going to have my candle ready. So because my spell and what I am working is a secret, I am not going to chant my mantra out loud for the recording of the spell. This stage, that is what you'll do. Now, I've already invoked the spirits. If you do that for every spell working, you don't have to. I am going to allow this candle to burn, and I'm going to burn a little taper green candle from now up until the full moon. You do not have to repeat that whole process each time, but what I am going to do is I'm going to continue to monitor this candle, the flame, and how the wax is burning, etc., for future signs and omens on how I may need to tweak my spell or what I may need to do to go from there. And I do have videos on reading the candle flame and reading your candle as it burns if you want to check those out for further insights. Again, I highly encourage you to develop your own method. But you see this flame here is very, very bright, and the flame is long. That is an indication that the spell is doing its work nicely. So it is done. You'll really want to make sure that your candle is glued on there very well. For some jars, you'll want to bury them off of your property or on your property, depending on what it's for. So something that you wish to have, like to draw something to your life, you're going to want to keep that jar close. So you'll want to either bury it on your property, bury it in a potted plant, or keep it on your altar maybe, or in your place of business, or wherever it may be, and charge it every now and then when you need to, or every full moon if you work with the moon phases and the tides of the seasons and things like that. I mean, I love to take advantage, utilize these energies as they present themselves and like sway them toward your desired reality, your desired outcome. But if you need to cast a spell when the moon phase is not favorable, in my opinion, if you have a very strong desire, a strong need, that is all that you need. Okay, you can do any spell at any time, in my opinion. I think all the different planetary tides and hours and things like that just enhance it. Okay, just like the tools enhance it. The props, the candles, the herbs, etc. They're not absolutely necessary. They just help with the spell. So keep that in mind when you're doing your workings. I enjoy working with the moon as much as I can. That's just me. But if I have to cast a spell for whatever and it's not in alignment with the phase of the moon, of course I'm going to do it anyway. And I've had great results doing it either way. I hope that this has been of some help to you, and until next time, I wish you dark and wild blessings.